looked to my left and there was a bench, and there was a guy sitting on it, and the numbers I could see were 8888. Okay. So we're going to get into what that means. I know 9 and 999s have to do with light working and following your path. So I think that was just a little push from my angels that wanted me this week to kind of get into this angel numerology, because it can be a little bit confusing. But that is how it will come to you in quick ways like that on a license plate, on a receipt. If you're working with computers all day, those numbers will pop up to you. If you're doing data entry, you'll be amazed how often your angels are communicating with you. Now, I talked about the duality. So let's get into what it can mean on the adverse side when you're seeing 1. It relates to single-mindedness. I mean, we all get that, don't we? I'm number 1. Like, it's all about that energy of intolerance sometimes, conceit, maybe even narrow-mindedness, lacking in emotion, dependence, or passivity. So that's why I say, here's where you come into this. You have to tune in to where your vibration and your energies are at the moment you see the numbers. This is your angel's brilliant way of getting your attention so that you can pay attention in the moment. Something I think that we can be sorely lacking in our country and in our society. We are so busy. We're so fast paced. We're so focused on the next moment. We sometimes forget to be in the moment. And your angels are so wise, and what they're wanting you to do is tune in, not just to what they're saying, but tune into your thoughts, because that is the gold mine. That's where you shift your energies, is with your own momentum, your own thought patterns. That's where you start to create new realities, the energy of 1. And so if you are at the moment thinking, gosh, this is never going to work, and I don't know why it should work, and it's never worked before, and that person stiffed me before, and I don't think it's going to happen, and then you happen to, your angels get your attention and they have you look over at the license plate that says 1111 or the clock that says 1111, catch yourself right there. This is not just for them to talk to you and whisper sweet nothings. This is for them to begin to retrain your thoughts into positive vibrations, because it's only there in that fertile ground that we attract what we want to attract, not what we think we want to attract. You may be complaining about being stiffed, and that's the energy you're putting out, and that's what the universe hears, and it answers. Stiffed, finished, checked off the list, we did it, you're going to get stiffed. So when you see 1111, and I really am spending a little time here, because this is the basic principle, you have to check your thoughts. Now, if you were thinking at 1111, I love life, my husband's great, my wife is great, my kids are beautiful, and you're smiling gloriously at them as they're frolicking before you, and you see 1111, you're in a good space, guys, because you're manifesting more of that. 1111 is a magic number to me because it's about manifestation. Now, a lot of these numbers can tie into that, but when I see that number particularly, I say check yourself before you wreck yourself. So if you are not in a good frame of mind, get there. And it's easy to do. You see 1111, you're not where you think you should be, switch and say, you know what? I am grateful for this opportunity. I have my concerns, but you know what? It's worked out before. It's going to work out this time. That is the power of 11. 11 or our number 1. Number 2 resonates with the vibration of service, duty, balance, and harmony. It's about diplomacy, charm, cooperation, consideration, and friendliness. It's about being gentle and kind. It's about art and insightfulness and ambition and sensitivity and justice. It's about sociability. It's about support. Okay, so those are some of the things that number 2 deals with. It's about living in your divine purpose and being on your soul mission. It's about being decisive. That's that. I know I'm going to do this. I'm going forward. It's about poise and intuition and flexibility and grace and partnerships and relationships. How funny that 2 would be associated with partnerships. If 1 is the loneliest number, and that can mean I and me, and that means I and me are changing. So there's a positive aspect to it. Then 2 means us. You get it, guys? So I sometimes have to do that in order for me to have learned this years ago. I had to make it easy. I'd had to make it how I'd make it for my preschoolers so that I could ingest it, because spiritually at that time I was a preschooler and I was trying to figure out this brave new language that was very overwhelming sometimes. So 2 is us. 1 is me. What am I thinking? How am I shifting? What am I bringing to the world? What am I manifesting? 2 is what are we doing? How can I be of service to you, my brother? And that is the energy of 2. 2 also can resonate on the duality flip side with indifference and the inability to take responsibility and fearfulness, and sometimes even pessimism and hesitation. So it's, we talk about synonyms and antonyms. It's pretty much what you do. If you know what the beginning of 2 is, and you know what the bright side, I'll call it, of 2 is, then you'll understand what the other side is. And in that moment, if you're seeing 22, or your bill rings up to 2222, or you see that license plate that's 222, check your thoughts right then. This is a stop. This is a check by your angels, and see where your vibration is, and see, am I on the other side of 2 where I'm indifferent, I'm lacking consideration, whereas in a 2 on the positive side, you would have consideration for a partnership or for the way that somebody else feels. That's your moment, guys. These numbers are not just floating in front of you for any reason. It is your moment to get into alignment. We always hear about this alignment, law of attraction, and all this stuff. It seemed like a lot of spiritual mumbo jumbo that kind of overtook us. And we thought, well, what does it all mean? Oh, that's nice. It must work for Oprah, or it works for millionaires and billionaires. It works for you. It works for you in your life where you are right now. It works for all of us. It's always working. There is a universal language, and we are always being communicated with. So that is the energy of 2. Here's the energy of 3. And it resonates with optimism and joy and inspiration and creativity and imagination and expansion and broad-minded thinking. It's really a number about freedom seeking and adventure and brilliance and rhythm and passion and sensitivity and self-expression and psychic ability and manifesting and manifestation. This is a number that I would see a lot, and I still see a lot. 333 is one of my jams. 777 is probably my favorite of all the jams, but 333 is definitely a number that I see. And what I love about this number is it resonates with the energy of ascended masters, and it indicates that these ascended masters are around you and assisting you when asked. Ascended masters, they help you to focus on the divine spark within yourself and others and assist you with manifesting your desires. Peace and clarity and the love that you always have inside of you. I love that. When I'm in a spot where I'm feeling troubled, whenever I'm feeling a little down or blue, I don't just think of a happy song. I sometimes get that 333 and think, thank you, because it feels like a warm hug from the Lord. That's what it feels like to me. I know when I think of ascended masters, I think of Jesus, I think of Buddha, I think of all these ascended masters that have gone before, people that were wise, and I think of people that have got it in this life, even as people that we knew in our century, Mother Teresa, different people like that. So when I am seeing that number, I think, okay, you guys are here with me. You're helping me get through this moment. And I'm shifting my energy to this higher vibration where you guys always resonated, where you guys always took the high road. And so that is the energy that happens when you're seeing 3. Now, on the adverse side, when you're seeing 3, it can also relate to indifference and lack of stamina or concentration, a spectacular rise and fall, and mood swings and mania, because this number is a very powerful and intense number. So it really kind of taps into that idea of like, are you swinging? Do you have a hold of yourself? Are you being steady and even keel? Because that's really, I think again of the books that I would read to the kids, The Rabbit and the Hare. The books that I would read the kids, rather, The Rabbit and the Hare, or The Tortoise and the Hare, I believe it is. The Rabbit and the Hare. The Rabbit and the Rabbit. The Tortoise and the Hare. And it's about slow and steady running the race. And so sometimes when I see 3, I'm a person who has a lot of activities going on in my life, and I'm always trying to scale the next mountain. And sometimes when I see that 333, I know my angels are saying, Monette, let's focus on this one thing. You're going to get to the next mountain, But let's get through with this. Last week I shared with you guys, for me, it was a catering job. A lot of my energy and intuition went into providing the best service for my clients. I had other things to do, but I saw that 333 and I knew, okay, your energy and your attention has to be focused here. Thank you, angels. So even though it was on the adverse side of 333, it was still a harness to kind of get me back in the saddle and get me back focused in the right direction that I needed to be creative and have a positive output. So that's the energy of 333. When we're dealing with 4, we're dealing with an energy that's about practicality. 4 feels very grounded to me. It's about organization, exactitude. It's about patience and service, devotion, application, pragmatism, and patriotism, interestingly enough. Dignity, trust, endurance, loyalty, mastery. I love the idea of being a master in your field, being a master of skill. I have had the privilege to be around some masters, whether it was of carpentry or building or people that were masters in speaking or education. I learned from a wonderful woman in Alabama, actually, how to deal with and teach children. She was a master. To this day, I speak with friends about the lessons she taught me. And she was a master. And I could separate her personal politics from the person that she was, which was brilliant. Mastery is what 4 resonates with. It's about determination, production, and hard work, high morals, traditional values, honesty, and integrity. It's all of that grounding stuff, that foundational 4. Foundational 4. That is the stuff that gets us plugged into earth, to life, and to people. What do we want from a relationship? Someone that's honest and loyal. We want someone who's integral and faithful and has the ability to not stray. And that is the energy that 4 brings. It's about realistic values and the ability to progress in management and justice and seriousness and constructiveness and dependability. So when you're seeing 4, it also resonates with the energy of archangels. Now, we talked previously about ascended masters in 3. So 4 is our archangels. We're talking about Michael. We're talking about Gabriel. We're talking about Ariel. We're talking about Uriel. These are powerful archangels. Michael is an angel we all hear about. What I love about Michael is he's coming in with this incredible power of 4 of cutting things and grounding you. Michael is a great way to tap into a meditation if you ever want to do it. Because when you're dealing with the energy of Michael, you're dealing with protection, safety, and dependability. Michael's the person you call when you think, I don't know if I'm getting in that fender bender, but I'm going to call out right now. Michael is a person that kind of is like quickly intervening, or the angel that's quickly intervening and has an incredible sword, apparently. And that sword cuts things and helps things stay grounded. I really like that energy. So when I think of 4, I think of Michael a lot, even though there are other archangels, and you guys figure out which ones work for you. The negative side of 4 is lack of convention and conviction and the inability to adapt and laziness. So where 4 is all about dependability, structure, movement, justice, think about its opposite side. It's very easy to remember the duality if you think about the positive, okay? For 5, we're dealing with this number that resonates with personal freedom, the unconventional individual. It's about change. 555, man, that number. I worked in a field where I was dealing with computers and I was putting in a lot of information. I was helping people with their credit. I was doing all kinds of stuff in a past moment in my life here. And I would see this number all the time. I was very unhappy where I was. And I kept seeing 555. I kept putting in 555. I kept typing in 555. I kept talking to my clients and talking to Experian and TransUnion about this number. And I knew that it was time for me to make a shift. And that's what 5 does. So I didn't like it because I knew, oh no, I'm going to have to do the dreaded thing that no human likes to do, which is change. But that change got me to the best place that I've ever been in my life. I was so grateful for that 5 when I understood it, but in the moment, it could seem a little overwhelming because I knew what it meant. I had an understanding of the angel numbers then. So it's about motivation, progress, travel, adventure. sympathy, understanding and sociability, pleasure seeking, telepathy. That's something I was experiencing a lot in that position where I was really hearing people's thoughts and I didn't always like what I was hearing. Now, again, being clairaudient and clairsentient, I feel and hear, I read